Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. We are live and exclusive with the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world and current #1 contender, mandatory for the WBC heavyweight championship of the world, Bermane, beware, Stiverne.
Yes, sir. Present.
We meet again.
Again and again.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Everything is great.
We have got a lot to talk about. You can thank.
Apparently.
Yeah, you can thank your thank the media for some of these questions I'm going to fire at you. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm going to ask the questions. Question number one. Remember last time we spoke, we talked about the contract between yourself and Deontay Wilder that had, in your side, you'd signed it. Now, according to reports, you only signed the contract to fight Deontay Wilder yesterday. Can you talk to me about this first and foremost?
Just a few details that was, it was nothing. I mean, they made it bigger than it was really. It was just a few things that was that needed to be, added or take off, and everything is resolved now. So it wasn't as big as people was trying to make it seem like.
There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, Stiverne didn't want the fight. Now he's got the opportunity. Stiverne's ducking out a fight. He don't want to fight Wilder."
No. It was a mixed up with the transition between Brazil and Wilder. So people must understand that when there's paperwork involved, they forget about the paperwork and the legal stuff that's going on. You can't just say you're gonna fight somebody. You can say that, but there's also the paperwork. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So if you were told something and you expect it to be on paper and it's not, or you know what I'm saying, that these are things that that has to be taken care of. So it's not about the opportunity and all of that. It's just that we basically asked for a couple of correction, and that's what that was the it wasn't even the issue. It was just that we were still waiting to get the right paperwork. That's all it was.
Okay, fair enough. The next thing is they said in this report that Don King didn't know about the negotiations and that Prince went ahead and made these negotiations behind Don King's back. Can you clear that up for us?
Nah. False. It was that's not true.
So King and King, Prince and Lubin all are working together. There's no behind the back or Don King weren't happy with the agreement.
Nah, there's none of that. None of that. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things that people made it, bigger than what it was, and it wasn't that. It was nothing like that.
Now the juicy part. Now, we've heard not conflicting stories, but the last time I spoke to you about Joyce, we did an interview, and you made a comment. You made a comment about Joyce, and you said you wouldn't fast track him. That's what I asked you. You said, I wouldn't fast track Joyce. Do you remember when you said that to me?
Right.
Right. Now, since then, and I then spoke to Ali Bashir the next day, and he said that the sparring between yourself and Joyce was competitive. Now, since then, the story came out that you threw Joyce out the gym, and Joyce come back and said, we heard the interview that we did. He didn't mention the channel, but thank you, Joyce, anyway. But he mentioned that according to this interview, that he was punching your dreadlocks all around the ring, and you were a walking punch bag.
Oh boy, was he?
Yes, according to you.
God, should I even give him the time of the day?
Yes, you should, because because if you don't, then people are going to say, "Oh, Stiverne's ducking again."
Ducking, everybody that knows me don't. I mean, listen. Okay, let me tell you this. How it first happened, I didn't know. I just found out maybe because that came into my. I mean, when I heard him. You know me. I don't look at the social media, but I first it was saying that he was talking or whatever, so I ignored it. But then I find out that before he came into my camp, that he put out there that I was the one calling him to come spar with me, which I never called him to spar with me. And when I looked at the article, and it says, Joe Jervis is on his way to Las Vegas to spar with Stiverne. I never knew nothing about that. And that one day I came to the gym and he was there, and then they asked to spar or whatever. So I said, okay. I mean, I already got my sparring partner, so I don't have to spar him.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, and you know, so House, my trainer, said, just do like a 4 round with him and just warm up to spar with the others. So I said, okay, I'll spar. And the sparring was basically me not throwing punches. It was to me. I wouldn't call that sparring. Um, whatever he's saying, or that he was punching me, or he knocked me out, or knocked me down, or whatever. To me it was I was just in the ring moving around, and we sparred maybe 3 days for a total of maybe 10 to 12 rounds, and I'll be I probably threw about maybe 50 to 75 punches those 3 sparring, because I knew what he was about. I knew what he was about, especially I found out who he was hanging out with. So that right there, it just like, oh, okay, I know what this is, So he wasn't coming to. At first he came. I mean, you want help, you fighting. Okay, I'll help you out. But the way that he was sparring, and you know, he was coming in there and trying to knock me out, which he couldn't. So I was just moving around with him. I didn't pay attention to all that madness and what he was trying to do or whatever. But then he wants to take that as in I was a punching bag or whatever. I didn't throw no punches because I didn't want to throw any punches because I did not want to entertain, and I was trying to figure him out. Why was he here or whatever? But the thing that really triggered me, and I find it very disrespectful from him, is we spar maybe the first week he was there. We spar for 3 days, and then he left that weekend, and I think he went to California, and then I got about 15 texts and 15 DM on my Instagram. People was like, "What are you doing sparring with this guy?" I'm like, "He's just a guy that just came and sparred." They're like, "Why? Why are you doing this?" Like, I'm like, "Why not? Like, what's going on?" And then they send me a picture with him sparring with Brazil. in California. So, and at the time, the fight with Wilder wasn't announced, and the thing with Ortiz was not out yet. So my opponent was Brazil. So I'm like, okay, you come to spar with me, and then you go to California to spar my opponent. I felt like it was tacky. I felt like it was childish, and it was very disrespectful.
Dang.
So I said, so when I didn't say nothing. I just said I don't want him in the gym. Basically, because when before he left for California that Friday, he was supposed to come back that Monday, and we were supposed to do some more rounds. So I said, you know what? I don't want to have to do. I didn't call this man. This man show up to spar with me. You see what I'm saying? So I felt like it was, childish or disrespectful for him to pull that stunt, to spar me, and then go to California and spar with Brazil, like it's a game or something. So obviously I don't know what he was thinking, or was he thinking at all? But I just came back and told him I didn't want him in the gym, and then that's when they told me, well, he's leaving in a few days. I said, okay, I'm not gonna run to him and tell him, this and that. So I just told the owner that I didn't want. I didn't say I didn't want him in the gym. I correct that. I said I wanted to come out at a different time that he comes.
Okay.
It's not my gym. I didn't kick anybody out. All I said was I just want to know when he leaves, or I want to come at a different time. Because now, right now, you sparring me and you go to California and sparring my opponent. So I I never heard anything like that. I've worked with several top heavyweights, champions, and I never in my life I would spar them and go and spar their opponent. This is ridiculous.
Wow.
So that was the whole my issue at the end. And then after that, he decided to go and talking about how I was basically he beat me up and stuff like that. But all these punches was on my gloves, so it's not like I would go back and forth with him and tell him about himself, but what is that going to do? I have better fish and bigger fish to think about, other than Joe Joyce that doesn't have won a professional fight. So basically, that's the story. That's the. I just removed myself and wanted to come at a different time that he comes. If I had to come earlier, and that's what I decided to do, and then I think they asked him, and I think he was saying, "Well, they want me out of here because this." No, I want you out of here because you. He was a little. He put out that stink move, Maybe he did it without thinking, but this is something you don't do. I mean, it's common sense.
Wow. That puts a different spin on things.
Right, but I mean, but hey, if he wants to tell the world, I don't know what is the what pride do you get? Even if it was true that he beat me up in sparring, which is not true, by the way. But what glory do you get to say that? Because it's a sparring.
Well, it's further negative press for Bermane Stiverne. In the first fight, when you were champion leading up to the first fight, there was a lot of negative press written about you then. And outside of Tyson Fury, you're probably the most hated person on YouTube on our channel. The amount of negative press you get is unbelievable. I don't even want to repeat some of the crap people say.
Is it?
Yeah, negative. I mean, negative in the sense because of the Wilder fight. Oh, Wilder beat him the first time. Wilder beat him again. I mean, you know, people
but I did what everybody wanted me to do. I didn't do it for them. I did it for me. I stepped aside. Now you can't blame me anymore because I finally gave everybody what they wanted, you know, and I stepped aside. And now who you gonna blame? Me? I didn't go to Ortiz camp and put anything in his mouth. I mean, you can't blame me. I did what I had to do, you know, and it just so happened that like I said, even when I decided to step aside, I always told everybody around me that this fight was not going to happen. And look what happened. It's not happening. And you know, speaking of again, let me talk about this Joyce. You know, he's delusional. You know, not somebody that will, in my opinion, that will go too far. You know what he's trying to do is what he's trying to mimic is to mimic Anthony Joshua, okay. Which is not going to work. Which is not going to work. Too tense, too robotic. You know, and definitely not a humble person. I thought he was, but he's not.
According to David Hay, he's the juggernaut. He's fast. He's a puncher. Oh, Bermane's disappeared for a second. Are you there, Bermane?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes. According to David Hay, he says that he's fast. He's powerful. Got a great chin. He does somersaults and backflips, and he's very flexible. And this is David Hay. I know what you think of David Hay already. So, what?
Wow. I'll plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, you know what? You know, these days, social media is very powerful.
It is.
And, you know, people would do anything for attention. And to get publicity. Yeah.
People are very interested in the death threats that Deontay Wilder has been sending you.
Well, this is something that Mr. Wilder should have thought about before he said it. Because now he done woke up the beast. The beast was up. Now he done pissed him off. I mean, if listen, I'm not going to play this game with him and play the words. You know, he send me messages or I talk about him, then he talk about me. There's nothing to say at this point. I have nothing to say at this point. Why would I have anything to say? The first fight happened. He won the fight. What can I say? I'm not going to use any excuses or tell you a story that this is what happened or that happened. I lost the first fight. But that was then and this is now. And, you know, for every single word that come out of his mouth this past few weeks or till the fight happened, Wilder will pay for that.
the first thing people say to me when they've heard the last thing, they say to me, well, he said that the last time and he didn't make him pay. How's he going to make him pay this time?
There's only one way to find out.
Tune in.
Only one way to find out. That's why I said I don't have anything to. I mean, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Well, what can I say? But like I said, that was then. This is now. You know, all I can say is it's a whole different fight that's going to be in that ring November 4th.
How do you plan to do things differently to the first time? How are you going to get past the jab? How are you going to get on the inside? Because we saw what happened the first fight. But
let me. If anybody knows me and knows my amateur career, people would know that my specialty was people that was taller than me. And if you don't know, that's why YouTube is there. So it's pretty much nothing complicated or too much. It's just back to the basic. Yeah. So people know that Deontay is vulnerable to a lot of things. You know. So like I said, man, I mean, I don't want to defend myself or even try to defend myself. The first fight, I was wrong. You know, I was wrong. It was my responsibility to show up healthy and I made a mistake, and I was wrong. That's all I can say. But there's one thing about me: I do not make the same mistake twice.
Our friend Tanaka K says, if Stiverne wins, who will he fight next?
This is something that I'm not even thinking about. I have this one task, only one task that I have to take care of, and that's Deontay Wilder, and that's all I ever wanted, all I ever needed. I've been waiting for this for 3 years now, 3.5 years, and this is my focus is only on Wilder right now.
Your training camp's gone very you've done some very different things to what you did for your training camp coming to the defense of your title. And I've noticed that. I've seen lots of, and I have to say, if people can't see already, you look a lot slimmer in your face than you did when you were actually defending your title against Deontay Wilder.
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say, is it different? Maybe, but you know, it's like I said, I don't do the same mistake twice. This is a man that I've done 12 rounds with him, a man that was at his best that night, a man that threw punches at me and I took everything and never took a knee or lay on my back. We know Wilder. I know him. I know his power. I know everything about him. And he knows as well. He knows as well. That's why he uses the fact that he beat me and not to fight me again and all that other, you know, all that other talking he been talking, that he doesn't have to fight me and stuff like that. But I know Wilder. Him and I know the truth. I can tell when somebody is nervous or scared. You know, I'll be honest with you. When I fought Areola the first time, I dropped him in the third round, and the man kept going for for 9 rounds. Kept coming at me. I tried to knock him out. Never happened. The man was tough, and I thought I was going to move on from that to when I find out that I had to fight him again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that I felt like I wanted to fight him again? Of course not. Areola is a tough man. And of course, I didn't want to fight him again. You know, even though I beat him, I beat him hands down. But it's not somebody that I wanted to fight again because of who he is. Because he's a man that keeps coming. Not that I was afraid, but I was more like, oh man, again, like I gotta, wow, you know. So I know how Deontay feels. I know exactly how he feels like.
Okay. Fans want to know: will you celebrate with a Guinness with the fans?
Goodness. Goodness. Oh boy. I bet you whoever asked that is from the islands. They have to be from the islands.
Well, he's having some Guinness, some nourishment, and some cinnamon. Put that in. Yeah, we have a nice drink there with some eggnog. We do great.
Yeah, but that's how we do it too. We do it with milk and ice, and we blend that. We do the same thing.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I said
Absolutely.
he must be from I don't know, Jamaica or something, or Grenada or something.
Yeah, probably. I bet you. We'll be surprised. Oh dear.
We're probably the only people that drink Guinness like that.
Yes.
Oh God. Or Malta.
Okay. People are still going on about the Joe Joyce and what Joe Joyce did to you inspiring. But we've covered that already.
God. This. Listen, George Joyce is a little puppy that's delusional. You understand what I'm saying? Very delusional. And like I said, all you have to do is find out who he hang outs with, and I will tell you the rest. That would answer the question.
We spoke to his opponent, literally Ian Lewison, who I know pretty well. Been to the gym, watched him work out a few times. He's fighting Ian Lewison tomorrow night. Ian Lewison said Joe Joyce has got no personality, and basically, if you start a cardboard copy of Lewison, you get more of a better interview out of him than Joe Joyce himself. He's stiff and he's got no personality. And Lewison said that when he deals with Joe Joyce, he's going to go after the puppet, which is Joe Joyce, and then he's going to go after the puppet master, which is David Haye.
I didn't even know you said that, and you said exactly what I said.
There you go. See, so that see,
that. Listen, he's it's just he basically like he's just like physically wise, like Robocop.
Robocop.
And thinks like a puppy.
It's like a puppy. Robocop. Oh my God. Where do we get these lines from?
But you know, I'm not even saying that to.
But hold on, which version of RoboCop? The new version or the old version? Because the new movie is quite good, actually. So is it the old RoboCop or the new RoboCop?
Listen, I'm just talking about the way he moved physically. You know, there's no. I mean, he might throughout the years get, you know, to be more loose and loose and relax, and you know, but he's just too tight. You know, too tight, and you know, there's. I don't have, you know, whatever I'm trying to say about him is not bad. It's just he might take it as I'm saying it bad, but this is what I saw and what I felt, and you know, and probably would need to work more on his power, because this is the heavyweight division, and you're going to need some of that.
Bermane, besides your, this is Sen asked the question. Besides your health, how do you break down your first fight performance against Wilder, and what do you intend to do differently this time? This is Senna that asked the question.
I can't answer that. I mean, besides my health, I mean, probably the number one thing I've been doing since the first fight was taking care of my health, or not so much of my health, but things that would jeopardize my well-being. You know, so it's pretty much paying attention to everything I do, and especially things that I put inside my body. Pretty much.
Now, when we met in the UK, we were met for George Groves versus Carl Froch, the rematch. Fantastic
Right.
atmosphere. And one of the real points that Carl Froch had with beef he had with George Groves was sparring with other guys to prepare, his opponent, Carl Froch's opponent, to fight him.
Right.
And Froch wasn't really impressed with that. He didn't like that very much. He thought it was a bit of a bad taste and a bad touch being a British fighter, helping a foreigner fight another British fighter. Now, people ask the question, will you in future fight Joe Joyce? Because this is the sort of thing that down the line gets a bit bitter and nasty and people start exchanging words and it ends up being a fight. Is that something you could see yourself fighting Joe Joyce? Is that something?
Can we not talk about this man anymore? I have no need or no interest to talk about this boy. I mean, he might go and say whatever he wants to say. The people that wants to believe him, that's just what it is. Like I said, there's nothing to believe. There's nothing that happened that was that was out of the ordinary, which is one incident that happened. I forgot to tell you. So, we sparring, and every time I spar, whoever's in the gym we ask them to put their phone down or whatever. And so his trainer has his phone in his hand. Whoever trained him has his phone in his hand, so as I'm sparring and I look, he has his phone in his hand. So I stopped and I said, man, can you put the phone down? And then he started, well, there is one God and nobody is above God and this and that. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, man, I'm just asking you nicely, can you put the phone down? He said, well, I'm just keeping the clock. I said, okay, but we have that. We keeping the clock. So basically you in my camp and want to run my camp because you have a clock. So I'm trying to tell him, like, just put the phone down and that's how I want it. And then he was going. And I said, listen, it's either I leave or you leave. And then he started back, well, this and that. And I said, listen, I'm doing you a favor. I don't have to spar him. And then me being, I could have just said, you know what, F that. I'm not going to spar you. But when I met Joyce, he told me he had a fight in a few weeks. So I'm trying to be considerate, and he has a fight. So, let him spar because he has a fight coming. But had I known that he was going to run his mouth like this, and me being an adult and being considerate, and the man has a fight, so help him out a little bit. Had I known, I wouldn't. I would have left the gym, or they would have to leave, basically.
Okay.
Because I didn't invite none of them. None of them. And whatever we did or however we spar, I don't even call it sparring because it was basically me just, moving around and not throwing punches.
But was there a reason why you didn't throw punches?
Because I knew what they were about. Well, let me tell you something. He come into the gym to spar, and then you got about 100 people around the ring, and everybody is like want to watch it. Come on, you know what this is about. You know what this is about. Come on, I'm not stupid. I've been doing this for 17 years. So I give them what they wanted, but I did it my way. And then when they came out the ring, I sparred with the other guys, and I was throwing punches. I would throw maybe a jab here and there with Joyce, but I didn't go and mix it up and stuff like that. You know, a few right hand here and there and a hook maybe, but I didn't spar like I sparred the other guys.
The other thing we need to take into consideration for people coming in and listening and are not aware, you had only just come into training camp because we spoke to you.
Right, that was my first time sparring since Povetkin.
Yeah, so you'd only just come into sparring, and Joyce was flying. He was already in shape and everything, from what I understand.
Right, he was in fight mode. But even that, if he was in fight mode, well, you got something else coming for him. He needs to work a little harder than that. Because if that was fight mode, maybe he has the wrong people around him. And me, even I remember I told you that he was coming, and I'm like, it's my first sparring. It's my first sparring since Povetkin. So, not
I know that
anyway.
because
People,
after that,
yeah, people just like to start rumors, and I don't know.
That's the reason. That's the reason why I do these interviews so close together. So I know the rubbish that's been put out there in the media. I know a lot of it is anti-Stiverne. So that's why we do back-to-back interviews, so we can time check everything and go back and check everything in time. So the next thing I'm going to ask you is, there's a picture out there of yourself sparring Ruhan Vissa. How has that been sparring with a South African?
Great. He's a guy that, he's helping me and improving himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we both help each other. He's learning, I'm learning. I'm making him work. He's making me work. That's all it's about. It's not. It's just that's me working with Bashir was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Not just because of the work, because of who they are. These are great people. People that's here to help me. You know what I'm saying? So this is the greatest gift I could have had for this this upcoming fight. Thanks to BWTM too.
Hey,
I didn't forget about you.
Listen. You win that world title. You know what you got to do for me. You know, one thing to do for me when you win that world title. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you win that world title?
BWTM.
Yes, come on, brother. Okay. And on a very serious note, the sparring session you had, I looked in the camp. I looked at that camp, and I was impressed by what I saw. Not just the sparring, but more of the pictures of the people that were in the camp. I saw Don House. I saw Ali Bashir. I saw Dominic Gwynn. I saw Sorenko. Ruhan Vissa. And there's some other guys I didn't recognize in the gym.
Yoel Casamayor.
Yes.
A bunch of different people, and then this right there is nothing but people that's positive.
Yes.
That's why you got to keep yourself around. I mean, people that want the best for you. And then what can I say? I mean, this is all. I've been blessed to have the crew that you saw on the picture.
Yep.
Which is probably the best care I ever had in my career. Um, I'm very grateful for it, to have all these people around me.
What are your thoughts on Anthony Joshua? People want to know about what your thoughts are. Do you believe that Joshua is a clean athlete, or do you believe there are some question marks about that? Because people are asking the question in the room, and they don't think I'm going to ask you, so I'm asking you.
I mean, Joshua is, maybe for the past year or two, I always thought that he was a little green. But when I say green, is somebody with potential,
Okay.
and we saw that every fight he gets better and better, and he's just getting better as he fight, you know. Like I said before, uh, Joshua is the man right now. His personality is the way he fights. Um, there's you can't deny or disagree with anybody that tells you that Joshua is the man right now. So there's nothing else to say. You know, he's as far as being a athlete, of course he is. As far as uh, him reaching all his capabilities, or I don't think he has yet, but I believe that this is something that will happen in the near future.
Kubrat
As
put
long
it.
as long as he as
Mhm.
long as he stay as long as he stay who he is right now, there's nothing that will affect him, as long as he stay humble. I mean, from what I saw and what I remember of him, he's a very humble guy.
Mhm.
And I always said that uh, I was in England when I came for that fight, and I remember that was when I was champion, and somebody drove past me, and I heard like, "Hey, Staverne," and I turned around, and then somebody get off the car, and walked to me, and it was Joshua, and he came and told me congratulations and shook my hand, and all of that, which he didn't have to do, and I thought it was very, very humble of him, and I always saw him as a respectful guy, and very humble,
Right.
so I don't have anything bad to say about Joshua. Uh, you know, but at this point, he is the man right now, and other than me.
But
So all just aside, hey, you never know. It's not a subject that I want to talk
talk
about
about
right now.
now.
But you never know. We might see each other. But right now, I have
Fish to fry.
a task to take care of November 4th, and
Um,
we'll see.
so back to the question I asked you. Well, I didn't ask the question. The fans are asking the question. Do you think that he's pure and natural in terms of his size, or do you think there's something else behind it?
I don't know, but I would hope not, because that would kill him. That would destroy his image and his career and everything he did. I would hope not. Do I think he is? I don't think he is, till it's proven otherwise. But I would, I would think that he's not doing anything that's against the rules.
Um, a lot has been made of the Deontay Wilder right hand, and they were saying, "Oh, that right hand's going to put Bermane to sleep this time." In terms of am I correct in saying he's got a metal plate in his fists now? Does that make a difference to him when he throws
Say what?
punches? A
He's what?
metal plate in his wrist or his hand. Deontay Wilder now.
I don't know. Does he?
some injury he had, isn't he? So I heard he's got some metal thing in his
I
hand
think it
now.
was. I think it was his arm for them. I don't know, some kind of motorcycle accident or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Hey, but hey, that could play. That could be either uh, good for him or bad for him.
See, I mentioned his statement about Deontay Wilder's injuries. That doesn't make him a better fighter now, does it?
From what I saw, if you look at the fight with Gerald Washington, he was pretty. He didn't throw that right hand like he usually throw it.
Okay.
Usually it was thrown like, he didn't care and just throw it, all power. But with Gerald, if you look at the fight, that right hand was not coming out like it used to.
Okay. And the right hand was coming out quite regularly in that video he did with those death threats towards you in the black and white, if you remember, in the gym, doing those exercises.
Yeah. But hey, boy, I'm ready to go. I'm like, get this thing over with. And people that and all the people that has all kinds of questions and say things about this fight. I hope that everybody will tune in November 4th.
In terms of that, talk to us about Showtime, because I know they came and visited you recently. They paid you a visit.
Right.
Tell me about this visit they paid you.
I mean, it wasn't them. It was. I mean, they came. I mean, just like the first fight, they came. The same people, which is great people. To chat a little bit, but I don't have anything against these people really. That's pretty much the people that makes decision at Showtime. That I got a few words for them, just a little bit.
You got a few words to the people at Showtime.
The one that's actually makes the decisions.
Okay. You care to share that message? You care to share that message?
Tune in at the press conference. You know my press conferences are tune in.
Oh, so there's going to be a press conference, Bermane. Is there going to be a press conference?
Yes, it will. I think it's going to be that Thursday, the day before the weigh-in.
Why have they left it so late? Why have they not done a pre-press conference? Or doesn't need a press conference?
I mean, because it was too short. Remember, they had a press conference in Ortiz. So if the result of the test would have came out before, then I would have been out there. So it came out, and even if they had one, I don't think I would have traveled too soon. When they announced the fight with me and Wilder, it was already too soon for a press conference.
Okay. So when do you hope to move from where you are over to New York? Is it Barclays Center?
We'll probably head over that way, the 30th or the 31st.
Okay.
And I can't wait to give myself a nice birthday present.
Birthday present? When's your birthday?
November 4th. November 1st. Sorry.
You're joking.
Did I serious?
Same day as my grandmother. Good people.
Yes, sir.
So go.
That would be the greatest birthday gift I ever had, or give myself.
What means more to you, beating Deontay Wilder or winning the WBC title again?
To beat him up, showing the world what I was talking about.
And you beating Deontay Wilder, becoming two-time heavyweight champion of the world, what would be your response to all the haters and all the naysayers and all the people said you'd get knocked out, get brain damage, and all the rest of it? What would be your
Would you have a answer for them, or just grab the belt and leave? See, sometimes not giving an answer is worse than giving an answer. Why would I even have to respond to all the critics and you know all the rumors and critics? I mean, I just beat them. Is I not? If when I beat them, that would be my answer to them.
Let's see what people are saying. On this at the moment, it says Wilder is 1-20. Stiverne has no chance according to the bookies at the moment in the UK.
Of course not. I'm 400 to 1.
You're 400 to 1.
400 to 1.
Are you?
Yeah, but that was if I knock him out in the 12th round. It was too. It starts. I think it starts. I saw that somebody told me it was 15 to 1, just for a regular win, and then they went up to like 200 to 1 and 400 to 1 if I knock him out in a certain round. I was like, wow.
Do you feel more underestimated as champion or more underestimated as challenger?
I don't think I never thought of that, but I'll tell you one thing: I feel better being the underdog.
Okay.
And if you look at it, I really don't have anything to lose. He has everything to lose.
That's true. Talk to us a bit about James Ellis Bashir, because I think this is a very interesting point. We know Bashir what told us first on BWTM Sports back when it was Bayloric. He told us that Deontay Wilder got dropped several occasions by Vladimir Klitschko. How much do you think that Bashir being in your corner or helping you out is a blessing to you in the rematch towards Wilder, and why?
Bashir is. I mean, I've been knowing Bashir even when I used to go to the Klitschko camp. But having Bashir and listening to him and him talking to his fighter when they working with me, and it makes me see why, or what I'm saying, it makes me understand things in a better way. It's very he's somebody that actually even when I have a house as a trainer, he's still able to give me good advices. Like I said,
Wow.
we're not too proud to have somebody come in and tell us their point of view. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nobody's too proud.
Technically, one of the things that I've looked at, and I talked to Bashir about it, the bit where they've got the stick and they're pushing the stick and you're moving your head.
Yeah.
Bashir was talking about, well, why don't you just have somebody who throws a jab instead at you? What's the difference, and how?
No, the is this for quickness? It's not. It's I could have somebody doing that with a jab, but the stick is just for the motion. It's not. It's not. It's really for the motion. Uh, it's not like we using somebody's hands and jabbing in front of me. But it's like, let's say if you do For example, when people see the way the Floyd do his mitts, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the way to fight. It's just a way to let your hands go and the motion.
Right.
There's a lot of people that always ask me, but why does he do the mitts like that? He don't fight like that. But it's not for you to fight. It's for you to. It's the motion.
Muscle memory.
Right. Exactly. So and sometimes you can see even when he fights, he be throwing combination the same way he does the pad, but it's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that he does because you can't do that for like 12 rounds. You know, somebody is not going to just stay in front of you and just get punched like that. But it's mostly for the motion and for the muscle memory and letting your hands go. So for me, having a stick and moving constantly from side to side it's just a motion.
Now, I've been fortunate to talk to some world-class trainers regarding this fight: Peter Fury, James Elabashir, Abel Sanchez, and quite a few others, Derek James. And they all have the same belief. Bermane Stiverne has to be in shape and he has to work more. If he gets in shape and he works harder and throws more punches, he wins the fight. So there's a belief that if you're in shape, which you weren't in the first fight, they're saying, and you come in good shape, you can beat Wilder.
Right. Tune in November 4th.
And in terms of your weight, I have to ask the question: How much did you weigh? How much did you weigh?
I know I trimmed down a lot, but I'm going in the ring as I feel good. I'm not looking at it. I'm not doing anything.
So will you be lighter or heavier?
I have no idea. I'm eating right. I'm training. I'm trimming. I'm losing weight. I know I'm losing weight for a fact, but I don't want to look at any numbers. I just eat. I drink. I'm eating very good. Drinking a lot, and I don't want that to be. I don't want to see any numbers. Then if I'm too light, I'm gonna be, oh man, should I start to worry, or if I'm too heavy, I don't want to worry about nothing when it comes to my weight. I'm going in there and trying to feel good. I feel good right now, so I don't want to look at my weight. I'll look at it at the weigh-in.
In terms of one of the big things, and one of my concerns is your food, your drink, your water, everything. You can ensure this time that there's no way, shape, or form that you can be susceptible to anything
Never.
underhanded this time
Never.
round.
Never. I have
Who's
people.
Who's your chef?
I have people that's around me. I have people that make sure that I eat well. I'm a hydrate. I have, trust me.
Would you take this?
I'm pretty much being babysit right now.
Would you be more cautious than you were when you went to fight Povetkin, because you knew what you were going into when you fought Povetkin? I mean, I know you're in America and you could say I've got everyone behind me and supporting me, but I have to say you said that the last time when you went into the first Wilder fight, and I said before the fight something ain't right, and I said it all leading up to the fight. I kept trying to tell you, and it so happened what happened. Now this time round, how do you ensure that it's tight to the point where nobody can be bought off or nobody can do anything sinister, giving you water in between the rounds that's dodgy and all the rest of it, to ensure that you can be at your optimum best? And I'm not going into conspiracy theories now. I'm going into facts, because Larry Holmes was ringside and he said that you were dehydrated. I knew that because I was on a show with Larry Holmes, and Larry Holmes said you were dehydrated, and he went to Don King to tell House you were dehydrated. So there was no that stuff about you being dehydrated that people don't want to believe. You were dehydrated. Larry Holmes saw it ringside.
I was.
So
I was. But now, right now, let me put it like this: 60% of my family lives in New York, and I don't have any. I'm not. Let's just say, um, however I handle myself in the first fight, and the things I was eating or things that I was delivered to me in that room, there will be none of that. Everything will be strictly. It will be supervised. Um, uh, this is something I have to do due to the first fight and how I felt when I checked in that hotel. So everything will be supervised, and like I said, I have a huge a family in New York, and when it comes to the food I eat, uh, what's better than your own family to feed you?
what's your relationship like with Lou DiBella?
I don't have any. I never had any conversation with him.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. There's one other question I must ask you. Yeah, what music, what's going to be the entrance tune?
Pay attention.
Crazy Ballheads, maybe?
No, I said pay attention.
Pay Attention is the tune.
No, I'm telling you to pay attention.
You're telling me pay attention to the tune.
Right. And if anybody is from the island, they will understand.
Okay. So what my mama say knock you out then?
Oh, just pay attention. if you are
Okay.
from the if you are from the islands, you'll understand.
Okay, I'm from okay, all right, fair enough. I'll be listening for that. Let's see. Are there any other questions people have got to? Oh, Pay Attention is a sick tune. Okay.
It's not. It's not the name of the song. It's not the name of the song. I'm telling people to pay attention to what is
You
going to.
need to come out to I Am Dangerous. Dangerous. I am dangerous. Yeah.
Listen. It's a how can I say? It's pretty much a message, and probably people won't understand the first maybe the first 20 seconds, but like I said, people that are from the islands will understand.
Okay. Is it in Haitian or is it in English?
Tune in. Tune in.
um. Let me see what else. Let's see if anyone else has got anything. How good is Ruan Vissa, by the way?
How what?
How good is Ruan Vissa?
I didn't hear you.
How good is Ruan Vissa?
Visa. Who is that?
The guy who was sparring.
Oh, sorry, y'all. Sorry. Very very. You know, he's very tall, and you would think that he's uh skinny or but the man is 275 pounds, and he's very strong, very
Okay.
tall. He has arms like like
An octopus.
very, very, very long arms. I wouldn't be surprised if his reach is 95.
Is it
He's
longer
like
than Wilder's?
he's like an octopus.
Yep. Is his arms longer than Wilder?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. You know, but a good power. You know, he's very accurate. He got speed. You know, and when I say 275 pounds, there's I was surprised when he took off his shirt that one day, and there was barely any ounce of fat on him, and that's a man that's 6'9", 270 plus pounds.
Bashir, that's a Bashir fighter, and you know he's looking after Ruin Vissa well. What about the other one, the Ukrainian?
Yeah, he's kind of remind me of Povetkin.
Okay.
Same style, you know. Very throws a lot of punches, a lot. You know, it's very the way, like I said, he's like Povetkin, moves a lot, throw a lot of punches.
Is he a big puncher?
I mean, he's a good. I mean, if he has power, they both have power.
Vlad Tsarenko, which is who you're talking about now. Where do you think he mixes in the heavyweight division 2 or 3 years from now? Under Bashir.
Well, I think he has a lot of potential. From especially when you like when I even before I sparred him, and I would maybe and I was surprised because the way he looked, he doesn't fight like the way he looks, you know. So the way he fights, and you know the European loves to throw a lot of punches.
Yep.
And you know it's you pretty much have to work to keep him off you.
Bashir called him a mix between Tyson and Holyfield.
You know he the way, yeah, I would say more of a Holyfield, because I've seen him do a couple things in the ring, and he's he's very busy. He's a busy fighter.
Will he be a threat in the heavyweight division, in your opinion?
I believe he will, as long as you listen and have the right people behind him. He will.
How would him and Joyce do at this point in time?
They did spar.
How did that go?
Let me just say, it's funny he don't talk about him, huh?
Oh,
He had a whole lot to say about me. He had a real sparring, somebody that was throwing punches, you know, but nothing was said about that.
How did that sparring session go?
I'll plead the fifth.
Was he using Tsarenko as a punching bag?
Listen, where I'm from, there's something. It's a bad. Once you enter the business of what they call here snitching, it's not good. So I keep my comments to myself. And I don't want to rat anybody out.
You don't call Bermane the snitch to Stiverne now, do you?
It's against the law to
snitch.
To snitch, really.
Oh, by the way, before we finish, I have to come back and ask the question. You stepped aside to face Brazil. Brazil is now fighting Molina. Where's the money gone?
Oh God.
Where's the money, Bermane? You step aside money. You took the money, and now you're facing the man again. What? How do you talk? How do you explain this one?
November 4th is going to be a good fight.
God.
It's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be very. I'm working very hard, and I'm being serious, and you're laughing. You know? Everybody tune in, and November 4th. I will be crowned 2-time heavyweight champion of the world.
I take that as a swerve, then.
Excuse me?
I take that as a swerve, then.
A swerve?
Yes, a swerve. Right. Okay. Bermane Stiverne, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports. As always, I suspect between now and the time you get to New York, there'll be more stories of either you being used as a punching bag or you getting into sparring or I don't know what to wait for next.
I might get to New York and all my dreads are going.
Yeah, you never know. That might happen as well. Who knows?
Since they punched them out.
Oh God! So I'll wait for your favorite publication to come out, and I'll hear about all the stuff that's going on with Bermane Stiverne, and then I'll ask you about it afterwards.
Good idea.
Because every time I read that publication, and I come back and ask you questions, says that never happened. I don't know about that. That wasn't the case.
Oh boy.
So, do you have a message to your fans apart from the fight, of course? Those who've been listening, tuning in.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have fans. I see the comments. Some comments I see. The DM. Those I can't answer. I apologize. I try to answer to everybody the best I can.
Yep.
Thank you to everybody. You know, especially when I was going through my digesting my loss of the title. You know, there's a lot of fans that was keeping me, you know, keep on messaging me and, you know, shout me out, and, you know, it's appreciate. I really appreciate everybody. For those that's for those that I can't, you know, or didn't have it or didn't receive an answer from me. I think everybody is what appreciated, and I look forward for November 4th, and I guarantee everybody I will come out victorious and the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Some two people will close will say somebody said that they put their mortgage on you beating Wilder, and if you lose, he'll be sleeping under the bridge.
Oh, somebody will say what?
He said he put his mortgage on you winning the fight, and he said if he loses, he'll be sleeping under the bridge.
That won't happen. I guarantee that won't happen. You'll have enough money to buy you 2 houses.
And then the other person said the bad guy says that basically you spent all the money on ragu sauce and meatballs. They're not gonna let you go with that ragu sauce, mate. I'll tell you.
The bad guy? You said the bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy said, yeah, the ragu sauce and the meatballs.
Bad man.
God. Right, I think that's it. I think right, let me just check and see there's nobody else there. Great greetings from Poland. And Yeah, still got people asking questions, Bermane. One of the questions they're asking is, why did you try and make a certain weight for the first fight?
You know, I was always had this thing where I was being um, superstitious about being a little bit under 40 and things like that. You know, um, I don't know. I should have, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's not. It's something that
It's gone.
Right. So right now, the way I'm doing things are completely different. Um, um, it's pretty much how I feel. I'm going in the ring the way I feel good. I feel good, basically.
And the broken hand, Deontay Wilder said he broke his hand in the first fight against you. That's why he didn't stop you in the first fight.
Sure.
That's what Deontay Wilder said.
Sure. I guess you know what. You know what. The truth is, whatever I'm saying or whatever he's saying, there's only one way to find out.
Tune in November 4th.
Exactly.
And a very quick word on Joshua versus Takam.
I mean, Joshua. I'm going with Joshua, obviously. Like I said, I think he is at his prime, and I don't see anybody beat him but myself.
Okay, that sounds good. And would you entertain? Should you become champion? Would you entertain a fight with him? I know you said before you would.
Well, this is a conversation we could have
afterwards.
November 5th.
Sounds good. So I guess we'll talk at some point between now and then.
Yes, sir.
Champ, all the best. Thank you so much for your time as always with BWTM, and thank you.
Appreciate it.
All the best, champ. See you soon.
Thank you.
So there you have it, Bermane Stiverne live and exclusive on BWTM. Look at the time, 5 to 12. We have turned around once again, and I believe next up we will be having. Oh dear, we might not be able to do the interview because the battery's dead. We've got an interview with Abel Sanchez coming up, so stay tuned. Abel Sanchez on the channel next up on BWTM. We hope you've enjoyed it. Speak soon.